Hey friends, welcome to the Plaid X2 channel. My name is John. On this channel we talk all things physical media, so movies, music, and books. If you're into that kind of thing, go ahead, hit subscribe down below for more of that kind of content. Well, this video is another happy birthday video. We just did one not too long ago for Denzel Washington, and we're doing another one at the beginning here in January. So anyway, this is, as you already know from the description below, this is a happy birthday and celebration of the films of Mel Gibson. So I have a pretty decent Mel Gibson collection of films in my collection, and we're gonna walk through those. In these happy birthday videos, what we do is we walk through my collection of Hollywood actor, actress, and I rank the films and how much I enjoy those films. Not necessarily their performance in that film, but the film itself that they were in. So anyway, I hope you enjoy this film. Please do in the comments below. Let me know what your favorite Mel Gibson films are, maybe how you would reorder these ones, and let me know if there are some Gibson films I don't have in my collection that you would recommend I add to the collection. So anyway, here we go. Okay, so first, these aren't necessarily going to be in the rankings, but they're in my collection, and technically Mel Gibson was in these films. Both of them were directed by him. Both of these blew up in the box office. They were incredible films, and he was technically in them. The first one is The Passion of the Christ. He directed this one. This was a monster film, and I believe it's his hands and his feet. One of the two or both were in this film. So anyway, he was technically in this one, but I'm not putting it in the ranking. And the other one is Hacksaw Ridge. I read that there was a scene where one of the actors wasn't available one day, and so I think his arm is in one of the scenes. Not the actor you think it is, it's actually Mel Gibson's arm. So technically, he was in this film as well. This one is a really, really powerful, amazing film. Also, neither of these two films will be in the rankings, but I thought I would mention them because he was technically in them. So anyway, here we go in the actual ranking. So coming in at number 13, it is The Expendables 3. This is not a great movie. I'm not really into it. It's probably not even going to stay in the collection, but I do have it in the collection right now, so I thought I would add it in. There is a cast of about 4,000 80s, 90s action film stars, and he's one of them. I will say this though, for Mel Gibson, I actually think his acting is maybe the best in this entire cast. And I love Sylvester Stallone. The Rocky films are my favorite films of all time, but I think him and Kelsey Grammer probably have the best actual acting in this film. So anyway, Mel Gibson, he's a villain in this one. His performance is pretty great in this film. 13 is The Expendables 3. Coming in at number 12 is a fairly new film. I think it was released in 2019, just last year. And it's not great, but it's one of those movies that it's bad in a way in which you're like, I could watch that over and over because it was that entertaining. And anyway, it is Force of Nature. Emile Hirsch, Kate Bosworth, and Mel Gibson. Now you'll see Gibson is prominently put the center at the very top, and yet in the film, he's not there all that much. He's mostly in a chair, has occasional lines, real gruff, kind of in the corner. And you almost feel like they put him on the cover, put his name in the credits to sell these films, which it didn't work. I don't think many people have seen this film. I did pick this one up. Thank you very much, Rick, Down to Movie. He did not keep it in his collection, but I did want it in mine because it is one of those films that's bad enough that I will watch it again out of the pure, sheer entertainment of seeing a film that does not go great. But Gibson is in this one, and for me in my collection, it comes in at number 12. All right, coming in at number 11 is Mel Gibson's most recent release, and it is The Fatman. So for me, this comes in at number 11. I just recently did a unboxing and review video. You can find in the description below a link to that one. So at the end of this video, check that out and you'll hear a little bit more about this one, learn a little bit more about this release. This is the Canadian release of that film. This is a really unique, strange Christmas film. Not your normal Christmas film. Gibson is Santa. He gave a kid a piece of coal. The kid doesn't like it, so he hires a hitman to come and take out the fat man. And that's what this movie is about. I did find it pretty entertaining, and entertaining enough that I will watch it multiple times and did want it in the collection. So for me and Mel Gibson, this one comes in at number 11 in my Gibson collection. All right, so here is now the top 10. This one comes in at number 10. It is Daddy's Home 2. This is an absolutely ridiculous film. I find it very funny. Anytime you get Will Ferrell, Mark Wahlberg together, I laugh a lot. Gibson, his role in this film is a minor. He's in the main cast, but it's a minor role. But he's, I think, pretty funny. He's just kind of like a crotchety old man. We're super grumpy, super gruff. He plays Mark Wahlberg's dad in this film, and I do laugh a lot in this film. I think it's worth it. John Lithgow is very funny as Will Ferrell's dad. If you've never seen this one, I encourage you to check it out. I think it's pretty funny. But this comes in at number 10 for me. Coming in at number 9 for me is Signs. I really enjoy this film. It's a sci-fi film. You've got a really young Joaquin Phoenix in this film as well. Gibson plays a pastor, a minister. Trauma has happened in his life. He kind of loses his faith, and then all of this kind of strange paranormal stuff starts happening. And you kind of like watch his journey as he is leading his family and his journey and his faith and his beliefs. I really like this one. I remember watching it for the very first time. There's one jump scene in particular. It got me that time for sure. I really like it. I think it's a really great cast, really fun story. This comes in at number 9 for me. So coming in at number 8 for me is Edge of Darkness. This is Mel Gibson playing a Boston police officer. There is a tragic incident that happens, and then he goes on to investigate it. For me, the heart of this film is the relationship between he and his daughter, how much he loves her, cares for her. There's great action in here, great suspense, great drama. I really enjoyed this one and was surprised by it. I encourage you to check this one out. I think it's a really great film. It comes in at number 8 for me, Edge of Darkness. Coming in at number 7 for me is We Were Soldiers. This is a beautiful, powerful, compelling film. This is kind of like Gibson did 3 or 4 in ones he was acting in, 3 kind of like major epic films. This kind of was on the tail end of that one, that kind of streak, and it is a powerful, huge monster of a movie. His performance is great in this film. I get teary-eyed in this film. It's an outstanding film. I don't have a ton to say on it that hasn't already been said about this one, but if you haven't seen it, it's definitely worth checking out. We Were Soldiers. Coming in at number 6 is actually a film, the first time I saw it, I made fun of it and I thought it was so dumb and just lame and terrible. And then I watched it again and I loved it and I went and bought it. And it is Bloodfather. Not a lot of people have probably seen this film and probably would consider it to be a B film. I really enjoy it. Again, it's one of those father-daughter relationships that is the heart of the film, which kind of kept me there with them. William H. Macy is also in this film. He plays opposite of Gibson. He's kind of like his best friend. And their relationship in the film is really good. A lot of the comedy happens between them, but there is action in this film, high-paced action. I think there is a lot of heart in this film. I really do enjoy it. So anyway, at number 6 for me is Bloodfather. All right, we are now into the top 5, and coming in at number 5 for me is Maverick. I love this film. It is very funny, super entertaining. The cast is outstanding. Mel Gibson, Jodie Foster, James Garner. Really well done. I love how this film looks. The comedy, it's high-paced. It's just an outstanding film. It's Gibson in a very lighthearted role. So a lot of these ones have been him in a very intense role, darker roles. This is very lighthearted and very entertaining. If you haven't seen this one, I definitely encourage you to check it out. Coming in at number 4 is a film that I've seen many times. I cry in this film on multiple occasions. I am like inspired, just want to like jump up, take the world, and it is The Patriot. Heath Ledger also has a main role in this film, and the relationship between him and his dad is just really compelling, his dad being Mel Gibson. There's a scene near the beginning that is just like fills you with so much just anger and hatred, and you want justice to be done and to be had, and that kind of like drives you through the film. There's another film between Gibson and his daughter, his little girl in the film, and that scene crushes me every single time. I am in tears every single time when I see it. So anyway, this film for me, I think is a must watch and a must have in your collection. Really compelling, beautifully filmed, and the cast is outstanding. So anyway, for me, I think this is number 4, and it is The Patriot. All right, we are now rounding out the top 3, and for many of you, you may be surprised that this comes in at number 3 for me, because I don't hear almost anyone talk about this film, and I think personally this is one of Mel Gibson's best films. It's one of my favorite films of him in it. I think he's perfect in the role, and I find the movie completely entertaining, and it is Get the Gringo. I heard about this film coming out, and I don't know if it even made it to theaters. I think this might have been direct-to-video movie, and so I expected nothing out of it. I expected it to be horrible, and I watched it and I was so compelled by this film. I've seen this probably 5 times, and the relationship between Gibson and this little fella in the film, that's really the heart of it, and I love that relationship. He becomes friend, father to this kid, wants to protect him. The story is kind of crazy. It all happens in this prison in which Mel Gibson is in. I highly recommend it. I think it's a great action film. Gibson is this grizzled old criminal, and I think it's really, it's fun, but it's got heart. It's got a lot of action. For me, it comes in at number 3. Coming in at number 2 is, again, maybe a surprise because I don't hear a lot of people talk about this film. This came out in 2011. This film I've seen probably 3 or 4 times, and I find this film deeply moving, and it is The Beaver. The cast in this film is unbelievable. Their performances are unbelievable. You got Jodie Foster, Anton Yelchin, and Jennifer Lawrence. When I first heard about this film, you got Mel Gibson with this beaver puppet here. When I first heard about this and I saw a photo from the production set, I thought this film was going to be just ridiculous and foolish and meaningless, and this film absolutely wrecks me. It's one I watch by myself because I just have to think through it and process it. It is on anxiety and depression and mental health and how the family, this is his son, how their relationship, this is his wife, and how the family processes mental health as Mel Gibson is just struggling and spiraling. And this film is really heavy. It may be triggering for some, and it's not one that I'd watch all the time, but it's definitely one I come back to every couple of years to watch because the performances are amazing, and the content, like the direction, what they're talking about is so heavy and so important, and how that family navigates all of that. I just can't say enough about this film, and I know not a lot of people saw it, and not a lot of people talk about it, but I think it's worth seeing, it's worth checking out, and for me this comes in at number 2. Mel Gibson's performance in this one is outstanding. Anyway, coming in at number 2, it's a heavy film, but The Beaver. So all right, before we hit number 1, let me know what are your favorite Mel Gibson films. Put it in the comments below. Let me know how you might rearrange my order. What are some Gibson films that I don't have, not in my collection, that you think are must-haves that I should add? Let me know in the comments below, and here is number 1. So coming in at number 1, this is probably no surprise to anyone. This is probably number 1 on most people's lists, and it is Mel Gibson's Braveheart. This is a film I've seen a bunch of times. I love it. I laugh in it. I'm inspired by it. It's passionate. It's beautiful. How it's shot is incredible. The story is incredible. There's nothing else I could say about this film that hasn't already been said. It is just so good, so quotable, so many lines, so many speeches. It's amazing. I've watched it many times. I will continue to watch this film in the future many times. It won a bunch of awards, 5 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. I think this is Mel Gibson at his absolute best in storytelling and in performance. So anyway, coming in at number 1 for me for my Mel Gibson's Happy Birthday, a celebration of his films in my collection. He'll never ever see this video. That's fine. We'll celebrate him on his birthday. This comes in at number 1. Friends, thank you so much for watching. I really genuinely appreciate it. Thank you. Let me know again in the comments below what you think of are your favorite Mel Gibson films, how you'd re-rank these films. Let me know what ones I should add to the collection. Thank you so much for watching. If you did like it, please do hit like. Please do subscribe down below for more of this kind of content if you'd like to see more. I hope you're doing well. Hope you're staying safe. Take care. We'll see you next time.
Oh God, please tell me.